The Sun's Imaginary Project. Story. Once upon a time there was a kid named Aaron. He had an unusual habit of going to the terrace every night and started to count the stars in the sky. He would stand there for hours and kept himself deeply concentrated in counting those. It was the same story every day. Slowly, he started recognizing the stars, and as their position changed, he would come to know about the shift. His mother was keeping a closer look in determining what he was doing by staying long hours in terrace, and that too in the night, while looking at the sky. She never tried to interrupt him while doing the same. It was a strange thing about the boy that he was able to know about the shift in position of stars, even though there were numerous stars in the sky. The technique behind that was, he took the brightest star as the reference, then created an imaginary circle around it, started naming the stars in numerological order and the degree at which they laid, while keeping the brightest star as reference, and followed the same for other stars also. One day his mother inquired about his project, which he took up every night. He explained the whole thing to his mother. The mother could have told the boy that his project was a nonsense. But instead, she took her chances by believing what the boy told was correct, and went on to experiment the same with him. She accompanied him every night to the terrace for checking out the progress that he made in his research. Soon, she also started to recognize the stars and their position. Even the shift in the position of stars were becoming familiar for her. She realized that her kid was a genius. What happened was, the mother had a perspective about her beliefs and the boy too had a perspective about his beliefs. But on taking a closer look we find that both had opposite perspective as per their thoughts, maturity levels, beliefs, ideas, education, and thinking. So the one who had more dominance in the situation, here it's the mother as per her age, knowledge, experience, had more chances to prove that her perspective was right and the kid was wrong. The mother, instead of using her dominance to change the perspective of the boy, and make it match with that of her, which could have been easy for her, took a leap of faith with her kid's idea and started to find the reality behind his ideas. Without getting bored and angry, she continued to explore and finally learned something new about the subject. Since the mother was smart, she was also looking at things logically, and finally, one day she came up with a question for the boy to test him. She said, "Kid, you have a great idea, and you went too deep into this subject. But have you ever thought about what I'm going to ask you?" Boy was surprised with the thought of the question his mom was about to ask. She asked him, "You were counting and knowing the position of other stars by keeping the brightest star as reference, but have you ever thought, what's the guarantee that the brightest star which you are seeing today, was the same one, which you saw yesterday, or day before yesterday?" The boy thought for a while, smiled at his mom and replied, "Mother, I am looking at the stars every night and they are also watching me. They have seen me counting and naming them. They also know how much I struggled in knowing all this. Why will the stars try to fool me? So the brightest star which I saw yesterday and day before yesterday is the same. It's my belief and faith towards them. The mother laughed at the boy's blind faith and answer. But she encouraged him and said, "Yes, you are right, and keep going with your project." Mother didn't wanted to demotivate the kid, but rather, wanted him to understand the reality, with his own experience, knowledge, and wisdom.